Hi y'all. I thought I'd talk about one of my favorite horror movies called The Fog. Now you're probably asking which one, right? The reimagining from 2005 or the original from 1980? Well, the easy answer is both. Now let's start with the original. Okay, features Tom Atkins. Was originally in, I guess, in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. I don't know because I've never seen that one. It was directed by John Carpenter. Also features Janet Leigh and her daughter Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, of course, and Adrienne Barbeau. It's about these settlers that have some have leprosy, and that the guy Blake has gold. He's a lot of gold. He's rich, and they don't want the townspeople don't really want a leper colony that close, so they try to basically, do away with them, so to speak. But something ends up happening where they end up getting killed anyway, and only, as you may guess, to return later in the fog. Within the fog, it's really become a cult classic. When it was first released, people didn't really like it. It was only like maybe a moderate success at the time. They tried to capitalize on Halloween by putting, as you can slide this up a little bit here, as you can see from that, tried to capitalize on the success of Halloween, which came out in 1978 with Jamie Lee Curtis also. They tried to capitalize on that success by putting her on the poster. As you can imagine, it didn't do what they thought it was going to do. That happens sometimes. Now, the thing that a lot of people probably don't realize about The Fog, the original, is that a lot of the scenes were reshot. Because John Carpenter was unsatisfied, and he wanted to make the film look scarier. Because for the late 70s, early 80s, you needed to make it, like a little more graphic, he thought, to have any kind of success. He wasn't completely satisfied with it. That's why he greenlit this one, which is the reimagining. It features Tom Welling, who was in Smallville, Maggie Grace from Lost, Selma Blair, who played on Hellboy, and she also played with Charlie Sheen on the show Anger Management, the TV show, not the movie with Adam Sandler. Both are okay. The Anger Management ones, I mean. Not really my thing, so I don't really buy that crap. Similar structured storyline, but different enough to where it really stands on its own. And if you watch the documentary, it's called Whiteout Conditions, Remaking a Horror Classic. If you watch that, you will understand why John Carpenter wanted to do this, make this one. This also features flashbacks of the what happened to those settlers at the time. It's within this one, of course. The original did not show anything like that. But both films really stand on their own. Both about the same length, an hour and a half for the original, and a little over an hour and a half for the remake or reimagining. When the remake came, or I keep saying remake, reimagining, remake, whatever you want to call it, came out in 2005. Did fairly well at the box office, but people didn't really like it. I don't know if it'll become a cult classic, but it should, because it's just, I mean, it was different enough from the original. I mean, they weren't trying to like recreate shot for shot, the original. I actually saw that one in theaters, and I watched it, quite a few times over the years. At first, I had mixed feelings about it, but if you understand why it was made, and you understand that you watch that documentary and you listen to what John Carpenter has to say about it, then if you watch the movie more carefully, you'll understand it better, and you'll probably like it. I mean, it's a good film. And now you're probably going to ask, which one do I like better? Well, honestly, I like them both. They both stand on their own. It's just like comparing apples to oranges or fried chicken to ribs. I mean, they're all good, but each in their own way, right? I'll give you another example real quick. In 2003, the first Pirates of the Caribbean came out. Now, people may not understand where they might have got some of those ideas from. Yes, it was based off of a ride at Disneyland. I understand that. But there was a movie that came out in 1995 called Cutthroat Island with Gina Davis as Morgan Adams, a pirate. It was really good. She had a pet monkey in it. I mean, if you watch that one and you watch the first Pirates of the Caribbean, which came out in 2003, you will plainly see where they got the ideas from. Because that's pretty much what the first Pirates of the Caribbean is. It's like a somewhat different Cutthroat Island. And some people may actually think that Cutthroat Island came after, but I got a news flash for you people. It didn't. Cutthroat Island came out in 1995. It was directed by Renny Harlin, who also directed one of the best sequels in the Nightmare on Elm Street series, or in my opinion, the best sequel, Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master. It didn't do well at the box office. It's probably because folks just weren't ready for the pirate movie at the time. But I guess they were by 2003. Now, it was the 20th anniversary of that movie last year. I mean, in my opinion, Renny Harlin should have re-released it into theaters for the 20th anniversary. And he could, better late than never, but he could have made some of that money back, I think. This is how you could have advertised it. Before Pirates of the Caribbean, there was Cutthroat Island. Sells itself, but it's a missed opportunity. But hopefully in the coming years, the foggy reimagining can achieve its own cult status. Like I said, I love both the original and the remake. They both got all kinds of extras on the discs. This is the collector's edition Blu-ray of the original, and this is the unrated widescreen edition that I put in this red case here of the reimagining. So I guess that's about it. You'll check the films out if you'd like. In my opinion, it is very worth it. They are some of the best horror movies that aren't, creature features or franchises or anything like that. They stand on their own. Don't try to, compare this one to that one, because, you'll just drive yourself nuts with it. But they're both good, each in their own way. So, if you want to check out a couple of great horror films, both versions of The Fog, can't go wrong. Before I wrap this up, I want to say there was another movie, there's another movie floating around called The Fog that you want to avoid. It's like a 3-hour film that was done like in Europe or someplace like that, Asia, I don't know. It has nothing to do with these. It's just an overlong movie. I mean, it's hard to understand. I made the mistake of picking it up once many years ago. A mistake I will not duplicate. I forget who's in it, but yeah, just avoid that one. If it's not the original with Adrienne Barbeau and Jamie Lee Curtis, or the newer one with Selma Blair and Tom Welling, don't bother. Now, there's a movie that's sort of like, again, a sort of similar storyline that The Asylum did, but it's now owned by somebody else because they sold the rights to it. This is before that they started doing films like Sharknado and Mega Shark and stuff like that. They also came out with their first animated movie called Izzy's Way Home, which is similar to Finding Dory and Finding Nemo. It's pretty good for their first animated movie. Check that out too. But last thing I want to say is there's this one called Jolly Roger Massacre at Cutter's Cove. It's more gory than either version of The Fog, but it's not bad. So it's not quite as good as either version of The Fog, but it's worth checking out if you can find it cheap. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this, and check these movies out.